So today also we'll be discussing regarding the questions from research aptitude. Today we have taken questions from 2019 shifts. So let's see how the pattern has been changing. What is the difference you find? Please to give us comment and regarding how do you feel the difference? What is your understanding regarding it? So let's see. Yeah. Moving on to the first question. Yeah. In research method, generalization may be made that will be applicable to other situations of the same type. What is this called? So here different studies has been given as options. A, cohort study, B, case study, C, panel study, D, blind study. So out of this, we have to identify in which research method generalization may be made that will be applicable to other situation of the same type. So if the situations are same, how can we generalize things? Out of all this research method, which will give the same generalization if the same type is being reflected in the other area also, the other case also. So let's see what is all about. First one, what is cohort study? We have already seen a detailed description of different research methodologies or the different types of research in our classes, but let's see according to this question. So in cohort study, it is a study of longitudinal study that observes a large group of people who share some common characteristics over a period of time. It is a longitudinal study and it shows how people share, it is a study of people who share some common characteristics. For example, a group of people who take same amount of drugs, same type of drugs, or people who have a same type of disease, all these are part of cohort study. Then case study, it facilitates in-depth understanding regarding the subject and its related conditions. This makes generalization that may well apply to other situations of the same type. So we have got what it is. So what is the question all about? This makes generalization that may well applicable to other situation of the same type. So here itself we got the answer. That is, case study is that where we make the generalization if it is a case of same situation. Then moving on to panel study, same units are observed over a period of time. Yeah, same units in a population or same samples have been observed over a period of time. This is also a longitudinal study. Over a period of time, the study is being conducted. Then moving on to what is blind study. There are two types of blind study, that is a single blind study or blind study and a double blind study. In a single blind study, the participants in the clinical trial do not know if they are receiving a placebo or the real treatment, whereas in a double blind study, both the participants and the experimenters or the researchers do not know which group got the placebo and which got the experimental treatment. For example, like we have introduced vaccines during this pandemic. So there will be a group of people whom we will be testing whether this vaccine is working or not. So for some people, the original vaccines will be given. For others, some kind of different medicine or different placebos will be given. That is what is called placebos and experimental cases in a clinical study, like a medicine or a vaccine invention happens like this. So what happens? Whenever the participants, the people who are receiving it don't know about who received the actual placebo, who received the original medicine, then that is a case of single blind study. Then double blind study comes into picture when both the person who gives, that is the experimenter, and the person who receives it, the participant don't know who received the actual placebo or who received the experimental treatment. So after the reactions only we came to the conclusion. That's what happens in the double blind study. So moving on to our question, here we have seen already the generalization happens if it is the same situation, the situation of same type in a case study. So this is how you have to analyze different questions. We know this is a competitive exam. We have a large syllabus to cover. So it may not be possible for you to cover entire things while you're studying. So please to go through this previous year questions where you come up with new things. You understand new methodologies. If you go and try and learn and study the types of research, there are numerous. So maybe you may not be able to cover once through everything through a single, while you're studying. But when it happens while you're, going and studying the previous year question papers. So please do have this practice of looking at the previous year question papers and make use of this class, this live streaming. Yeah. Moving on to second question. the easiest attitudinal scale, which is summated rating scale. This is a direct question. We know what is the summated rating scale is. So A1, A given is Gutmann scale, then it is the Likert scale, then Thurston scale and MLA scale. Out of this, we are very sure that there is nothing called MLA scale existing. This is a type of modern language association, which is a type of citation given during our literature review, during our reference. So MLA scale, there is nothing called MLA scale existing. Whereas we know that Gutmann scale, Likert scale and Thurston are unidimensional scales which only look into a particular dimension, maybe a height, age or any attitude or behavior. Will only measure a particular behavior of a person. Especially it is used in the social science for psychological understanding, like whether you like a particular good, we are very satisfied, not that satisfied, all that comes in the picture of unidimensional scales. We are only measuring one dimension, either it be one single characteristics. So that is why it is a part of unidimensional scales. There are basically 3 unidimensional scales, that is Thurston or equal appearing interval scale. That is the key feature regarding Thurston scale. It has number for agree or disagree statements with numerical values attached. It is designed to be similar to an interval scale. That is why it has been called as equal appearing interval scale. Moving on to Likert or summative scale. Likert is known as the summative scale. Respondents are asked to rate items according to their level of agreement. And finally, we will summate together the scores and comes to a conclusion. That is why it has been called as summative scale. Then Gutmann or cumulative scale, a scale with binary yes or no answers. In our questionnaires, we do have yes or no questions. And that is being rated through Gutmann or cumulative scale. So moving on to the question, we know the summated rating scale is the Likert scale. So answer is option B. Moving on to question number 3. A hypothesis should be conceptually convoluted, complex and generic, complex, tough and general, simple, clear and specific, obscure, complicated and simple. And there is nothing to even think about it, or the key feature or the key characteristics of a hypothesis, an optimal or a good hypothesis is that it should be simple, clear and specific. It should narrow down to the point. So the feature is simple, clear and specific is the characteristics or the important quality that a good hypothesis should have. Okay. The other things are very, otherwise, even if you are not aware about it, you can even, think like this. See, all are similar, complex, here also that complex, and here it is complicated. All 3 will not come to a same conclusion. So the only one which is being standing as a difference here is simple, clear and specific, which is very opposite to the complex thing. So in that way, even if you're not even having an idea also, this way you can eliminate the all other options and come to a conclusion, because all other three seems to be similar, like everything has a complex or complicated word. So all the 3 will not be an answer for your question. So simple, clear and specific, which is entirely different to that. It's an odd one out. It's this every time this will not work, but this is one way at the most point where you make a guess section. So that also you can follow, because this is a competitive exam. We have to do the smart work. If it is the hard work is not working. So let's go to the 4th question. Research that focus on social inequality between men and women is called comparative research, longitudinal research, action research, and feminist research. Here it is about the social inequality between men and women. So there is no doubt feminism is all about equality between men and women. So it is a feminist research. We are very sure about what you mean by action research, longitudinal research, and in comparative research, what happens? We study both the difference and similarities between 2 regions, 2 countries, or what the cases may be. But here it is all about social inequality, and we know that feminism is about the equality between men and women. So that research regarding that focus on the social inequality between men and women to improve that situation, it has been called as a feminist research. Moving on to the final question for today. The formulation of a research problem can be compared to laying the foundation of a building, B, building the walls of a home, C, polishing the doors of a building, D, constructing the ceiling of a house. So this you have to make an analogy to what the research problem, formulation of a research problem. That is the first step in the research process. So what is the first step in building of a house? Laying the foundation of a building. Similarly, the first step in the research problem is formulation of a research problem or identifying your question. So this could be compared to the laying the foundation of a building. So that's all for today. And what you can understand, please do comment what you understand between 2018 and 2019 difference according to the questions we have discussed. So we'll be having different sections also, but still please do say what do you understand, what is the difference you found between 2018 and 2019 questions. That's all for today. Yeah, thank you.